What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I'm going to be testing out the resolution of this video that I'm about to record. Yesterday I recorded a full 4K one, 18 minutes long, 132 gigabytes, and that took a good 7 to 8 hours to upload, so I don't want to do that again. So we're just kind of testing out which resolution I'm going to stick with. And without further ado, today we're going to be talking about MARC-ANTOINE BARROIS fragrances. This one in particular is B683 Extrait. Release date for this, I believe, is 2020. And perfumer is Quentin Bisch. And Quentin Bisch has composed the 5 fragrances in this line. For those of you who don't know, MARC-ANTOINE BARROIS is an haute couture fashion designer, so really high-end stuff. He apparently is from a textile mill, so he knows a lot about great ingredients or great fabrics. So him and Quentin Bisch somehow met in 2015, and they both shared love for creating really beautiful pieces, whether it's clothing or fragrances, but they both have an eye for the beautiful things, the best of the best, and whatever you can get from that, right? So using all great raw materials to compose something greater than it is, and to put you through a journey. And that's exactly what B683 Extrait does for me. This is a new pickup, maybe about 3 weeks now, or maybe 2 weeks, right before Christmas. And the name for B683 was inspired by the asteroid of the Little Prince by Saint-Exupéry, and by the birth date of the couturier who made his own imaginary planet. So this one's based on an imaginary planet. The other fragrance I have behind here is Ganymede Extrait. Ganymede's a moon of something, Saturn, Jupiter, I have no idea. But it's a moon, so these are all planetary names. Encelade is the other name of the line. And if you go on his website, he kind of describes him a little bit, with rocky surfaces, dark crevices, things like that. But packaging for this is pretty nice and neat. You have a bunch of nice lines here, and that can, mean a lot of things. But to me, this is the weaves of the fabrics of, some of the materials that he might be using in his clothing. So really beautiful packaging there all around. The back is this. This is an Extrait de Parfum, if I did not already say that. So this is the follow-up to the original B683. I will preface saying that I have not tried any of the original fragrance. I went straight for the Extraits. At some point I'll revisit the originals, the original Ganymede, the original B683, and then Encelade, which I don't know if I want to go back to the original now or if I want to wait for the Extrait version to release, which should be, I'm hoping 2024, but hopefully we don't have to wait too long for that one. Ganymede Extrait was the most recent release in 2023. If you haven't seen my video on this, I highly recommend it. This is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. It quickly jumped to top 10 for me, then top 5, and now I'm pretty confident that this is my number 2 fragrance scent of all time for me. I highly enjoy this, so I was really excited to try B683. This one wasn't a blind buy. I smelled it at the scent room in Dallas, fell in love with it, bought it 2 months later. B683 Extrait, on the other hand, was a blind buy. I bought it based on the notes, based on Quentin Bisch, and a bunch of other factors. I kind of trust what I read online sometimes on certain notes and things like that. Although I was kind of surprised to see that Ganymede Extrait has some funny reviews online. A lot of people don't like it, but I absolutely love it. Only Le Lion still holds my #1 spot, and I think it will forever. Maybe not. Maybe something will take over later. So this is the packaging. Comes in a nice cardboard and sits nice and snug in there. It's not. It's a hard cardboard in there as well. And this is the fragrance bottle. So really nice gold. Not real gold, but gold plated. Here's the bottom. You can kind of see clearly there, which is nice. You can see how much you have left of your fragrance. You can also see it sometimes when it's going through this. So the texture is also see-through. You'll be able to see it, and then same with here. So you have different level guides all throughout. And just normal pop-off top, no magnet, none of that. So just super simple top with a nice slim rectangle. Fairly short bottle. This is only 50 ml. These only come in 50 milliliters. Currently, retail price for B683 Extrait is $380 USD on Neiman Marcus. I did not check any other websites, but that's what I saw. I did not pay retail for this. Is it worth the retail price? I don't know. It's a good question. It's a tough question to answer. It depends on a lot of factors. But let's get into this fragrance actually now. And then the last thing is some awards that the original Ganymede won. So the original Ganymede is very, very popular. And then here's just some other blurbs about B683, the original. Pause those if you want to read them. B683 Extrait. Let me see what this says. It's in French. That's why I couldn't understand it. But it says, the essence of a carnal and captivating leather. So there's your first hint on what this is. Note breakdown for this is agarwood. So you got oud, you have green apple, saffroline, which is a Givaudan exclusive, synthetic saffron. You have violet leaf, you have Indonesian patchouli leaf, cumin, Australian sandalwood, pink pepper, and vanilla. So really heavy hitter notes there. I was really drawn into this by the oud. I'm on my oud kick still. Can't get enough of it. All the interpretations of it. It's been really nice. Number 2, you got patchouli in here. And number 3, you have green apple. So I had Frederic Mall's Promise back in the day, back in 2020 actually, when this released. I sold it off. I regret selling it off. But that one also had a really nice green apple notes along with Nagamartha. So it kind of reminded me of the note breakdown on this. So I was like, it would be nice to have B683 Extrait because it might fill that void that I am missing from Promise. Because I can still picture Promise to this day. I can still smell it, and that kind of just lingers on forever. Somehow I've been talking for 10 minutes. I keep doing that. All right, so we're gonna spray this. Atomizer just goes kind of straight. It's very misty, very Dior. Not bad. So you got a nice little mist right there. We'll do one more. So immediately you get this sour green apple. Very, very sour. And it's a little scratchy. So this fragrance along with Ganymede Extrait are very scratchy, very raw. And going off their name, you know, this is very planetary. It feels like like an out of the world fragrance. I don't know how Quentin Bisch figured out how to make something feel otherworldly. But you would never find any of these profiles or anything like that in the mall or any designer fragrances, because these ones actually do stand out. They're very creative. They're actually pretty wearable to me, at least. So the green apple is there. It's very juicy. The oud isn't too heavy. It's not skanky at all. It's very refined. It's actually acting like a wood. It's not acting as another type of component to make it seem dirty, but it is just very wood-based. But it also could be combining very well with the sandalwood here. And I think sandalwood and the vanilla here are very minute, but they do play a role in at least taming down the fragrance a little bit. Without it, I think it would go along the lines of Bois Mysterio from Guerlain. Very, very harsh, nothing to tone it down. And this is apparently a leathery patchouli. So a patchouli leather is what they're calling this. It is a little bit leathery at times, but not so much, because the apple does lift it a lot. So my mind kind of strays away from leather at that point. It becomes more of like a fruity oud type of fragrance, but not completely. But the patchouli is there. It's at the heart of it, at the heart of everything, holding everything together. But I really enjoy this fragrance. Is it better than Ganymede Extrait for me? Probably not, at least not at this moment in time. And the reason is performance for this one. I've tested it out a couple times, but the green apple note that I really, really wanted disappears after a little bit. Let's say, let's say 2 to 3 hours, the apple's gone, and then you're just kind of left with the base at that point, which is unfortunate, because for an extrait, I was hoping for a longer lasting fragrance, a longer lasting apple note. But everything else kind of, it plays its part pretty well. You got that violet leaf in there. Very, very slight Dior Fahrenheit in this. And I mean like maybe 10-15%. But it's probably because of the violet leaf. I do feel that heat coming in as well. You have that cumin. This fragrance is very candy-like. I forgot to even mention that, but this is very candy-like, very sweet, very Mexican candy. I've mentioned this before for Ganymede Extrait. I've mentioned this before for Music for a While from Frederick Mall. But there is these tamarind, so no tamarindo. That's what this is. This is very candied spice. Let's put it that way. Leathery candied spice. So if that fits the description of if you think you might like it, definitely check B683 out. I really enjoy it. Going back to Ganymede Extrait, these do share similarities. If it wasn't for that apple note, I think they would be like 80% identical. But that's the only thing that kind of separates B683 from me, which is strange because the notes on paper are very different. The only two that they share are the safralene and the oud. So those must be composed like 50% of the fragrance for it to feel that way, right? So Quentin Bisch must have used the same base to start off with, and then kind of tweaked here and there to create a different planet in that galaxy or solar system, to create a different planet, but those are all part of the same solar system, right? So Ganymede Extrait has incense, myrrh, mandarin orange. So instead of apple, you have mandarin orange on there. You have immortelle, and then you have akigala wood and safralene, same like B683 Extrait. Overall, I highly enjoy both of these. I'm really excited to see what Quentin Bisch comes up with next for not only this brand, but in general. He had a really great 2023. I think he released at least 15 to 20 fragrances for all kinds of brands. Lamal, he had another hit with Lamal Elixir. I haven't got my nose on that yet. And just a bunch of other brands. I think he made an Amouage fragrance. And he's been a busy man, and I hope that he continues to produce great stuff. I highly enjoy him so far, and we'll cut it there. We'll catch you guys in the next video. All right, try these out. Fun experience.